and welcome to Two Gray Goatees and a Whistle. I'm your host, Coach Huddy, joined by the coach's wife, Amanda.
Hello.
And in this episode, we're going to talk about interviewing for coaching positions. So if you want to be somebody who's loves coaching, wants to try to get a job somewhere as a coach, we're going to do a segment of
Like a mock interview.
a mock interview. So I'm getting interviewed by the coach's wife, and then we're going to go into the recommendation how to National Federation of State High Schools, so the NFHS, how to do an interview, Reddit.
How to get that job.
We're going to cite or use recommendations that I pulled up of how to do your interview.
Rule
So,
number 1, don't be a douchebag.
yeah, don't be a douchebag. And you know what? There's coaches, I don't know how they get their job.
It's amazing, right?
It's amazing.
So, welcome.
Hi.
We received your interest letter in our position, and we have a few questions we would like to ask you.
Okay.
Question number 1, and feel free to expand on this as much as you would like. What is your core coaching philosophy and style?
My core coaching philosophy and style. I would say that when it comes to coaching, my philosophy is that I am there to make players better humans. I believe that although winning is important and it has its value and we need it, but we also need to make sure that we're putting out adults who are going to be successful in the real world. And I think if you nurture that aspect of it, the winning will come. The winning culture will come.
Okay. I feel like I should have a little pencil in me writing down.
I'm nervous, and this is not even a real thing.
Don't be nervous. We only
Okay.
have 4 other people being interviewed.
Okay.
We'll let you know by tomorrow.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Question number 2.
Yeah.
How do you handle conflict or adversity within your team?
Within the team? So within the team, I think that obviously there's always going to be something that's going to come up. Everything I think needs to be handled eternally. I think it needs to go through the chain of command before it goes to anywhere else. So before we get to the point where it should be with the athletic director or anybody else, if there is a conflict with the team, whether are we talking with players, are we talking with coaches or coaches, players? What is there something specific you're looking for?
Just your team.
Just the team. So if there is a conflict that happens, at the very beginning, I'm going to state this is how we solve problems, because just like anything else, you need to be more proactive than reactive. So as
So in
part,
the beginning, you mean as in your expectations and rules?
my expectations, rules will be
Plan.
set. Yep. And we will go to my assistant coaches, to the players, so everybody's on the same page. Our athletic director will know exactly what I expect. And I will also make sure that I'm in accordance with whatever school policy that they have in place. So, for instance, if it's a player conflict, no, I forgot. Parents also will understand the expectations and how we will approach things. If it's a player conflict, we'll sit the players down. We'll try to iron out what the miscommunication is, what the issue is, and try to handle it that way. If we feel like if it's something a little bit bigger, we need to have the parents involved, we will get the parents involved, and we'll probably pull the athletic director in too if it's something that needs to be taken care of. That might be a little bit more than just like, in the heat of the moment, they started swinging at each other. Or, if it gets to a point where it's a little more serious, obviously we pull in different people. But with coaches, philosophy is, and excuse my language, we're not going to motherfuck each other. And what I mean by that is that we are not going to talk trash about our coaches, assistant coaches behind their backs. If there is an issue or if there's something that needs to be explained better, that is something that the coach needs to come and communicate that with. So if I have 2 assistants that aren't jiving or things aren't going well, or they're having a little bit of riff, I will pull them in and we will talk and communicate in person in front of each other what it is that is wrong and what we need to do to solve the problem. If it's I think I answered it. Is there anything else that you need to get from that? Or was that pretty much, did that help?
I think we're good.
Okay.
I think you answered the question.
Okay.
Thank you for your answer. Number 3, what do you see as your biggest strengths, and what areas do you see that need to be most developed?
Biggest strengths, I think I have a pretty good knowledge on probably a better knowledge on one side of the football than the other. I think also that I would do a pretty good job of allowing my coaches to coach, my assistants to do their job, because if there's ever a situation that I'm not there, I want to know that I have somebody that can step in and they can do their job if something happens and I can't be there emergency wise. Uh, I think over time I've gotten better and have done a better job to try to learn how to be a better coach, to understand how to navigate the current environment that we have in coaching, where I think the recognition of mental training, how important that is, and make that just as much as a priority as the physical training that goes into it. I think I would do a pretty good job there. I think expectations. I think if I have a certain rule set up, not only do I expect you to do that during practice, I expect you to do it outside of practice, like how you behave out in public. I think holding the players accountable for that, how they act in the classroom. I think that's important. If you're acting like a clown in the classroom, that's not going to fly. I'll make sure that's taken care of. We'll take care of that. I think other strengths I am willing to learn, and I feel like that if I could take any advice from other coaches to try to make the team better and try to build that cohesion that you need. I think things that I need to work on. I think making sure that there is more than one way to do things. I think sometimes I might get stuck thinking that's the only way, and there's really could be five or six other ways to doing stuff. And I need to work on trying to be better at that. And I think that comes with learning, and that comes from making sure you have people in your staff that can fill maybe some of those deficits that you don't have.
Okay. Next question. What do you consider a successful outcome for the upcoming season program?
My biggest thing is improvement. I think every coach has realistic expectations of where they think their team is at. And I think if you have clear goals of what you are expecting to reach and that you communicate that with your team, what the expectations are, I think that helps a lot. If we're a team that if take this team over and they are, they've won 3 games in the past 2 years, lofty goals, you know, yeah, probably not going to make a state championship. That's not my goal the first year. My goal the first year is to make sure the kids have a place they feel comfortable where they can come and they want to have fun. And I think with that fun, we can find success as long as we understand that there is work that's involved in that. And you don't get there by doing things what you've done in the past. They have to understand that for us to be successful, there's certain changes that have to happen. And that success is going to be okay if we lose by 50 in the first game. And by the end of the season, let's say we don't win a game or we only win a game, but every game, that deficit is shrinking and we're being more competitive every game. And, maybe kids that weren't catching balls at the beginning of the year and now we're catching the ball or we're making the tackles that we weren't making at the end of the year. As long as there's the incremental growth, that to me is going to be success. And as long as we can continue that and keep that excitement up for those kids, and that the parents have the expectation, they understand what my definition of success is going to be. So they don't have this inflated view of where they think they should be. I think that will help in the long run.
Okay. A question. Assuming that you receive a phone call tomorrow and you are asked to take the position, what is your next step in that process?
My next step in that process is to get with my whoever is involved in the program as far as other coaches. And I want to be able to have some kind of say about who I have on my staff. And then I'm going to want to have a meeting with players and parents to set those expectations up and go from there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate you applying for the head football girls coach job.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
we will reach out to you.
All right. All right. So that was me doing an interview.
Not too
And
bad. I
I
mean,
think I could have done better on some things. But considering
well, and
I didn't have really time to think about what I was going to do. And this is all
I
shoot.
specifically didn't pre-ask you the questions because you're not going to know
No.
But obviously, if you were prepared to go in for an interview, you would hopefully have your accomplishments laid out in front of you. You would have
And
your
I would.
resume laid out in front of you. You
Yeah.
would have talking points that you wanted to bring up,
Yes.
notes that you would have in
And
front of
I would
you.
have a very specific, hey,
So that
this is
you
my
could be like, "Hey, if they
philosophy.
ask a question of this range, I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna be like, these
Yeah.
are the things I
This
wanna touch down."
this is my philosophy, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm doing.
But
So
I
yeah,
think for, not
off
having
the
any
hip and
preparation, not too bad.
no preparation.
I think you're a good candidate for the girls' football coach.
Thanks. Girls. Yeah, that works. Hey, girls can do some amazing things. So I will not knock that. All right. So let's talk about how to nail your coaching interview. All right. So in this segment, we're going to
How to nail your
understand
coach. What?
how to nail your coaching interview. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, every coach thinks they know X's and O's, but usually it's not what gets you hired. Athletic directors want culture builders, communicators, leaders, problem solvers. Today, we're breaking down how to walk into a coaching interview, give yourself the best chance to land the job. All right. Segment one: what athletic directors are really looking for, and this is something I would like to propose to Tanner because he's an AD, kind of get his,
Tanner or
or Bobrick.
Bobrick
Yeah,
or any of the
yeah.
80s that you would.
Cindy, she's an AD, so yeah, we could talk to them. So I like to, I maybe, and we'll talk about this later on other segments. All right, talking points: culture builders over play callers. Okay. Many schools prioritize leadership, communication, character development, and athletic relationship and academic accountability. I did bring up
You
that.
talked on character building and
Yeah.
just becoming a better human being,
Yeah.
both on and off being accountable for your actions and
Yeah.
your.
And your academics is part of that. And
Yes.
I probably something I probably should have driven a little, but I was talking about in the classroom and the behavior. And to me, behavior is if you're getting F's in class,
You're
that's a
probably
behavior. That
you're
is a
probably
selfish
thinking off.
freaking behavior. And that to me is the biggest self, just drives me nuts. Says a lot about yourself. If you do not care about your team, is all going to do about your grades. If you cannot turn in a simple assignment, you're going to screw your team over and not be eligible because you chose to be selfish.
Yep.
And to me, that's one that really gets to me. All right. The National Federation of State High School Association emphasizes that education-based athletics should be focused on the student growth, not just championships. Yay, I
you
know
nailed
that one. Okay. Anybody can draw up a play. Not everybody can build trust with kids, parents, assistants, and administrators. So that
This is true. Like, I don't know jack diddly about. I mean, I know more than some people about football, but I do not even know. Yeah, I don't. I couldn't tell you where every position is, or even what every position is. But I could get online and look up plays and draw them out for you,
right.
and tell you where the kids need to go.
Yeah.
Anybody could do that.
Yeah. So one of the most common interview questions: what is your coaching philosophy? You brought that up.
Yeah.
According to
Doing.
the NFHS interview guidance, candidates struggle when they haven't had a clear define their philosophy beforehand. Advice for listeners: your philosophy should include athlete development, accountability, communication, team culture, academic expectations, and community involvement.
Academic is the only thing you did not. Well, and you didn't involve community either, but you talked about all the rest of that.
Yeah. So those
Maybe
two
that's
I'd have
something
to
you
build
could.
on.
Yeah.
Yep. So example answers would be: my goals develop athletes into disciplined, accountable young adults while building a competitive and positive team culture.
How would you do that?
How would I do that?
That would be your backup.
That would be the well, because that's a very genetic answer. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's true. You would need to. Okay, how are you going to hold your kids accountable? Okay, for me personally, we would have weekly grade checks. That would be something. And the one thing that kind of sucks is when you do have coaches that aren't involved in school, and that doesn't mean that's
It makes it difficult.
it makes it difficult.
It's a hurdle.
It's a hurdle.
You have to have an AD that is on it.
That has
That
you,
is
and that's
giving you
where
that
your
information.
communication with your AD, and that's the relationship that coaches need to have with those teachers. So if I'm a coach that's not in that building,
we had in the school I work at, there is a parent who has stepped up the last few years and has been a part of coaching different sports. This person does not work in the school. They do have a couple of children that go to the school there, but this person does not work in that school. This person was in that school every morning checking on kids.
Yep.
They were not the head coach, but they made that a priority. And you could tell the difference in how those kids responded to that person.
Yeah.
They had a lot of respect for that person. And I don't think it was because they liked being harped on because that's what that person was doing, was being like, "Hey, did you get that turned in? Hey, you said,
Yeah.
we have these 3 assignments. Hey, where are they at?
Where they
Hey."
at?
But they were being held accountable, and every day they knew somebody cared.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
I've seen it on both sides.
that is a whole other aspect to the job, especially if you're not in that education environment with those
Yeah.
kids
Yeah. When you have coaches
that
that
you have to take on.
work at the school, it makes it that part you can do because you have that relationship with the teachers.
Right.
If you're not, and
Even if
this,
you don't have those kids in your class, you
so
can call the office and be like,
my
"Here's my
advice
roster."
to coaches that work at a school is that build that
Become friends with
relationship.
your secretaries.
Yeah.
They will get you that
Oh,
information
yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Not just your athletic director,
Yep.
your secretaries,
Those ladies are amazing, or and
or guys
gentlemen,
and
they
gentlemen.
can be
Yeah.
they're amazing.
Your secretaries are amazing
Yep,
and they do amazing things and they can do amazing things for you because
yep,
they control a lot of things.
they do.
Whether or
They have
not you get
access to
funds, they
everything.
have access to everything. So your secretaries are huge. Build a relationship with those teachers too,
Mhm.
you know, and then,
Just an email.
yeah,
If I got an email from a coach saying, "Hey, how's this kid doing in my class?" I would be floored. But I would be I would have a different perspective on that coach.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely that part of holding them accountable because I
And
think
yes, it takes you a little bit of time.
at least a little time, your community
But
involved.
what culture are you trying to build?
Yeah. Your community involvement. I remember doing this when I was helping out
I wish
basketball.
I saw more of that in certain areas. And then this has nothing to do with where I'm working. This has nothing to do with where I've worked in the past. I've seen it in areas and I've not seen it in areas, and I wish I saw it more in areas like your high school varsity kids in uniform helping meeting greeting kids when they get dropped off in the morning,
Yeah.
or
Having lunch with
having
them.
lunch with them,
Yep.
or does it take a few minutes? Yes. Will it make some kids uncomfortable? Hell yes. Is it important? Hell
Yeah.
yes.
We worked at a soup kitchen. Or not a soup kitchen, sorry, not a soup
We
kitchen, was
have
it?
worked in the same kitchen.
We've worked at soup, but
Has nothing to do with
with the team, when I was working with the basketball team, we worked at it was a food pantry
helping hands or
and
whatever it was.
helping
Yeah.
hands, yeah. And we were handing out bags of food for people. And that was our community involvement. And that was teaching these kids that
This
you
is your
this is
community.
your community. If you want your community to come support you, you're going to do this to help
Yep.
support. And there's a lot of things that happen that do. I know Hagerman, they have the rock chuck derby, and those teams usually are up
Run
there
that.
helping
Yeah.
with that. So, but just that's how you build that community
It
involvement.
There is so much more to being in a position like a coach than just showing up on the field at practice time.
Yes.
So much more.
Yeah.
And if you truly want to make a difference and you truly want to do that position to the best of your ability and actually build that culture, you have to do it all. And it's a lot. And
Yeah.
you're not getting paid to do all that.
Nope.
You're not even getting paid to do the bare minimum.
Yep.
And let's be honest.
No. Yep.
But you gotta want to do it. It's
Yeah.
gotta be a part of of your belief system.
Yep. Okay. The next part of this is preparation before your interview. Research the school, know the school history, know recent team success, understand the demographics and community, understand the expectations. So Reddit coaching communities and coaching interview blogs consistently stress researching the school and the current roster before interviewing. So I do remember when I was coming over to Gooding from Oregon, I remember doing some research trying to figure out, okay, what's been going on with this school, trying to figure out who players were. And there were certain players I was like, so this guy's doing pretty good. So trying to understand what your culture is going to be like when you're stepping in there,
You should be if you've
your
done the job
demographics.
right as a athletic director, as admin, as coaches, anybody else who walks through those halls of that school, if you've done your job right, those on the outside should be able to tell.
Yeah. You walk into an interview not knowing anything about that school, that's going to be the first thing they notice.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your mascot again? What's your school colors?
Yeah.
You better know that
You
stuff.
better know some shit.
Yeah. All right. Recommendations: bring a resume, coaching philosophy. So bring a portfolio that
Yeah.
includes your resume, coaching philosophy, practice plan, examples, off-season plan, academic monitoring ideas, leadership program ideas, strength and conditioning philosophy, communication plan for parents.
And if you had all that in your portfolio, you could have answered every one of those questions and not missed a beat.
Oh, yeah. A coaching portfolio separates serious candidates from people who just want to blow a whistle and have a title. According to coaching
I
interview
was,
experts, yeah,
all district or all conference, blah blah blah. Back in my day, I could be a coach.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's not
If
how that
somebody's
works.
explaining how they coached or they played back in the '90s or even like 10 years ago, it has changed so much. And if
Well,
you
but that
don't,
doesn't make you a coach.
no, but you got to understand if you can't change with what's going on right now, and I've seen
Well,
that,
I
and
would
I'm
run
just like,
this because
yeah,
this is what my
I'm gonna
coach did.
run the hell out of my kids. Well, why? They're not doing cross country. What the hell are you running them that much for? So that mindlessness, that's just a conflict
You
of
get dumb.
me being coaching. That's different. Me basically practice for what you're coaching, what sport you're doing. Pure and simple. According to coaching interviews experts, preparation and mock interviews dramatically improve confidence and clarity. So for me, having you give me those interview questions and me practicing that, you know, what do you want in this job? What is your coaching philosophy? How would you handle parent issues? How do you discipline athletes? How do you develop assistants? How do you balance winning and player development? How would former players describe you? All of that. Yeah. Biggest mistakes coaches make in an interview. They always talk about winning. The NFHS warns candidates focused entirely on championships can raise red flags. Athletic directors want winners, but they really want someone who won't burn the program down in 3 years. Bad mouthing former coaches. Don't do it.
Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Specifically
There's
notice their
really,
majors mistakes.
you're not in there to advocate or
Yeah.
promote anybody. You're in there for yourself.
Yeah.
You do not need to go in there and talk about how somebody did so amazing 3 years ago, or even how somebody has effed up the year before. It has nothing to do with you.
If you trash your previous program in the interview, the panel starts wondering if they're bulls, if you'll say the same about them later. Yep. No questions.
Your players, or about if you don't have, if you don't have the respect and the candor to not talk crap, then you're not going to have that respect.
Because everybody's situation is differently. There are coaches that are really good that just did not find success in certain areas. And I remember learning that from Coach Mac Brown at a conference I went to. There are great coaches out there.
Even if they're not a good coach, it's not your place to have an opinion on it.
Nope. Question 3, or mistake number 3, no questions for the interview panel. Strong candidates ask thoughtful questions. Example, what are the expectations for this position? What support systems are available? What does success look like in year 1? Yeah, throw that same question about success.
Because when I went into my interview, I wanted to know how I was being backed up. I know what I can do for you.
What are you going to do for me?
What are you going to do to back me up so that I can do what I can do for you?
How involved is the community? That'd be a question you need to ask. What challenges has the program faced in the past? Is it financial? Is it coaches in the past doing some shady stuff? What is it? The next section of this is questions coaches should ask. Great questions to ask. What's the biggest need in the program right now? What is the one thing we need in this program? What kind of support exists in the off-season development? What traditions are important to protect? Which other things? So if there is a certain walk that they always do down to the field, or is there, should the players, should I know, and I probably should get to know what the fight song is. You should know what that fight song is. You're going to be there and make sure that that's their culture questions. What does the school value most in coaches? How involved are parents and boosters? But
there's good and bad to that.
There's good and bad, but you need to have that.
You do need to have that support system.
Yes.
That support system is super important. Now there's a support system, and then there's intervening and a hurdle. What side do you fall on?
Also, if you're on the educational side, what teaching positions are open? Hopefully, if you're going in that job, that you'll understand that there's a teaching job tied to that.
Yeah, I mean, I would, just based on what we've experienced, and generally, if you're moving to another school, you're not doing it solely on coaching alone. You cannot live off of $3,000 a year.
Yeah, if you're lucky, they pay you that much.
They pay you that much. Okay, so generally, you are either already have a position in that school, or you are going for that position, and this is an add-on.
Yep. Other questions that ask are, what is an assistant coach structure? I mean, how many coaches do I get or refunded for? How can I split this? Make sure that I get what I need. because most coaches probably can have as many coaches as they can get because that helps with delegating and filling in certain
It
gaps.
does, yeah.
Depending what the job is.
Depending on the sport.
Depending on the sport. I mean, some you only need a couple.
Otherwise, you just got extra people standing around.
Yes. Fundraising expectations. Some of this is rules. What rules, understanding fundraising rules, stuff like that. So you are not breaking any either school rules or state rules when it comes to fundraising. Yeah. Modern coach expectations, communicate with parents, handle social media professionally, promote positive culture, support mental health, build inclusivity, emphasize academics.
That is something that has changed immensely over the last 15 years, 15, 20 years, it's not about what people say to your face anymore.
Yep.
It's about what somebody posts, what somebody says on social media, what somebody does on social media. There's that whole other aspect to it that, I mean, that alone is a huge change in adaptation you have to make, like you can't. Yeah.
So
I think if I were ever in a position where I was a high school varsity coach or something that had a little more, I mean, I can't say merit to it, but had more relying on it, maybe more depending on it, I think I would be completely off social media.
As a coach, yeah. Well, the thing is, it's out there, and it's always going to be out there,
but
and
I don't need
that's where the
I don't
thick
need it to drag
skin.
me down.
No, and I think there's different ways you can look at that. You can be the one. You gotta learn how to. That's just an extra layer of thick skinness, I guess you would say, that you have to learn because you're always going to have people or say crap.
But what happened to just, if you had something to say, come say it to my face. Because
We
at
know
least
that's
then I can
that's
defend myself.
well, yeah, and then you're not going to want to respond, and that's the hardest part is going to be responding
I think that's the hardest part
because,
is
well,
is the
as a spouse
we
to
don't.
coaches, you know,
Yeah.
the crap that gets said.
There's a reason I said out in left field. I
Yeah.
have nothing to do with anybody. And part of it's my personality.
Yeah.
But nothing pisses me off more is when you have a parent running their mouth about, and it can be the opposing team's coach. I don't care.
Yeah.
You're sitting on the bench. You are a spectator. Shut up.
Yeah. Support your kid.
Like you
Yeah.
don't get a say. You
Yeah.
don't.
There's nothing that you're going to say that's going to change the outcome of this.
No.
game.
And you're just being
Yep.
nasty. Yeah. There's been more than one time where you've been like, don't respond.
Yeah. So,
but I really want to.
Yeah. So the one thing that people need to understand, okay, this old school, my way or the highway coaching doesn't survive long anymore. You have got to adapt. And if you think that that's the way to do it, and this is the way I used to do it, you're not going to last long.
It's probably not going to work out so well.
No. So
you can be a powerful role model. You can hold kids accountable. You can take your role seriously without belittling, demeaning, or punishing.
Great. Totally. Yep. All right. Next, last part of this segment we're talking about is going to be a rapid fire segment. You're going to either say red flag or green flag. This is an interview, red flag, green flag. So you're doing the interview and you're going to
fill in that head girls
football position. So if you hear, I'm going to give you a statement or a scenario and you got to tell me whether it's a red flag or green flag.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Do I have to explain why I think so?
No, just say red flag, green flag.
Okay.
That's it. Coach blames former players for losing season.
Say that again.
Coach blames
red flag.
former players. Yep. Red flag.
Red flag.
Okay.
You cannot come in there
right.
and be like, well, the last school I worked out, they were a bunch of losers.
Yes.
Nobody had any athletic
Right.
ability.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're the problem.
Yep. Okay. Next one. Candidate has detailed off-season plans. Candidate has a detailed off-season plan.
As long as they follow the rules and guidelines set by your high school athletics and that kind of stuff, I'd say that's a green flag.
Okay, there you go. Talks only about winning.
Red flag.
Mentions academic accountability.
Green flag.
Says parents should stay out of everything.
While I understand that train of thought sometimes, some parents make you want to think that, I'm going to say it's a red flag.
It's a red flag,
because parents do need development. Parents are a part of those kids. It's their kids.
Yep. They're investing into it too. So yeah, I agree. Has leadership development ideas.
Green flag.
Yeah.
Took me a second to
Doesn't know the school mascot or rival.
That's not important. That's a red flag.
That's a
You
red
need to
flag,
know
yeah.
where you're going
Yep.
and what you're getting into.
Yeah. So, when we're looking at
Care enough to find out the little details. It means the
yes,
world.
absolutely. And anymore, it doesn't take that long to figure that out.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. Getting a coaching job isn't about sounding perfect. It's about showing that you can lead people, build a relationship, and represent your school right away. Coaches who get hired are usually the ones that show preparation, humility, visions, and authenticity.
Nice.
There you go.
So go out and get those jobs.
Go out and get that job. Okay. And if you don't get it, don't blame me.
Yeah. Or else
So
we don't want to hear about it.
we don't want to hear about it. All right. Our next segment, we haven't done this a while. We're going to do a movie mashup.
Okay.
All right. See if we can get the show. All right. Here is the script. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Coming this summer, one man can drive a golf ball 400 yards, but still can't understand relationships.
Happy Gilmore.
Okay. You got Happy Gilmore, right? In a world, there is one man has anger issues. Scene: a New York coffee shop. Harry sits calmly reading a newspaper. A front window suddenly shatters. Happy Gilmore bursts through carrying a hockey stick and golf bag. Happy: does anybody know where the nearest driving range is? Harry: most people use doors. Happy: doors are for quitters. Scene 2, the debate. Harry and Happy walking through Central Park. Harry: men and women can't just be friends. Happy:
Oh, and Harry met Sally.
there you go.
I was
Harry
trying to
met
place
Sally.
Harry.
Okay, here we go. Happy: sure they can. Harry: no, they can't. Happy: my caddy is an alligator and we're doing fine. Scene 3, the golf tournament. The scene: huge PGA style tournament, crowd completely silent. Happy steps up to the tee. The announcer: and now Happy Gilmore. Happy sprints at the golf ball like a linebacker. Crack! The ball flies into the hot dog stand. Crowd erupts. Random fan: he just killed the mustard guy. Scene 4, the romantic dinner. Fancy restaurant. Harry tries teaching Happy manners. Harry: you can't yell at the waiter. Happy: he started it. Waiter: sir, you threaten the breadsticks. Happy: they knew what they did. Scene 5, iconic rom-com moment. Late night conversation overlooking the city skyline. Harry: so what do you actually want? Happy: I want to win a tournament championship. Dramatic pause. Maybe stop crying during commercials.
What?
Harry says, that's the most honest thing you've said. Now the training montage. Harry teaching Happy how to talk to women. Happy teaching Harry how to fight hecklers. Harry getting arrested.
Hitch.
Okay. Yes,
Happy
a little bit of hitch.
Gilmore.
Okay.
When Harry met Sally.
There we go. Harry gets arrested after attacking a mascot. Happy accidentally destroys a mini golf course. Both men riding golf carts through Manhattan. Happy says, you're starting to scare me, Harry. Harry: I feel alive. Big emotional breakup, rain pouring outside golf club. Harry says, you can't solve everything by hitting it. Happy: worked on the ball, didn't it? Harry: you're impossible. Happy: and you'll take 6 hours to order pancakes. Final tournament, championship hole. Happy needs one final putt to win. Huge crowd watching. Harry appears in the distance. Harry says, Happy. Happy turns dramatically. Harry says, you complete me.
Oh my God.
Happy says, you eat you eat pieces of crap for breakfast. Harry: I walked right into that one. Trailer ending. Narrator: this summer, love is complicated, but golf is worse. When Harry met Happy Gilmore.
Oh my God. That's horrible.
Happy: somebody's going to pay for that window. All right. Ready for the cast?
That was horrible.
Yep.
Like there were so many bad things in that.
Okay. Here is your cast. Tell me if you think the cast is okay. Happy Gilmore is going to be played by
Adam Sandler.
Okay? You got to keep him in that role.
There's no way.
All right, but we are going to modify Harry because Harry Burns was a lot earlier, right? 90s show. So we're going to do somebody a little more modern.
Okay.
Somebody who has dry sarcasm, fast talking commentary. can play annoying and charming simultaneously, would absolutely roast Happy for 2 straight hours. Ryan Reynolds is going to play Harry Burns. Character description, a relationship expert who somehow becomes best friends with the loudest golfer on earth. Now we got Sally. Your Sally Albright type character is to be played by Emma Stone. Emma Stone would thrive in this movie because she's an elite comic timing, can match Sandler's chaos, can switch between romantic and sarcastic instantaneously. Character description, a sports reporter trying to cover the PGA Tour while slowly realizing she enjoys the insanity around Happy and Harry. The rival golfer villain is going to be played by Glenn Powell. He's going to be your modern version of Shooter McGavin. Too perfect, overly polished, smiles while insulting people. His character description is a country club superstar golfer who believes Happy is ruining the gentleman's game. The word caddy is going to be played by Will Ferrell, an emotional, unstable former yoga instructor who gives terrible golfing advice.
I like Will Ferrell in some things, but in other things, he is over the top obnoxious.
And I like him.
And I could see him being over the top obnoxious. I could see him ruining this for me. Not that it wasn't already ruined.
Your tournament announcer is going to be Jace Sudeikis. Okay. Basically mixing sports commentary, stand-up comedy, complete disbelief of everything happening. Character description is the announcer trying desperately to keep broadcasting professional while Happy destroys golf carts. The Happy's love interest is going to be played by Jennifer Lawrence, a fiery sports psychologist hired to help Happy control his anger. Spoiler, it doesn't work. Your random heckler is going to be Pete Davidson. The fan angry golf commissioner is going to be Steve Carell. Another therapist is going to be Kristen Wiig. There you go.
Can I have Bad Bunny in there somewhere?
Well, he was in the second one. Yeah, that'd be cool to have him in there. I thought he did a really good job in the second one. I really liked the second Happy Gilmore. I thought they did a really good job not making it too crazy. I mean, Happy Gilmore was kind of over top anyways.
But yes, they did not. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Last segment, mascot of the week. You ready? All right. This week's spotlight heads to rural Oklahoma, one of the most unique mascot high schools. We're going to Bray Doyle Public Schools.
Weird that Oklahoma is like deaf.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. The Bray Doyle
Maybe
mascot.
The winds come sweeping on the blanket.
I don't know. It's to me, it's just, I don't know. I'm sure there's beauty in every state. I'm sure. That's not one I have right now on my list. But anyways, all right. All right, let's go back to this. All right, so what we're looking at is this mascot represents toughness, stubborn determination, and hard work, traits the community takes pride in. In the interview, the local media school leaders explained that this mascot symbolizes resilience and refusing to quit even when things get difficult. In fact, the mascot gained national attention in 2014 when the Bray Doyle mascot were voted one of the top high school mascots in the entire country during the USA Today contest. This mascot were first voted Oklahoma's best mascot before landing in the national top 10. The Donkeys.
The Donkeys?
The Donkeys. The Bray Doyle Donkeys. That is your mascot, which I think fits.
I wonder if they have so there's wild donkeys in Nevada and Arizona and stuff. I wonder if they have them over there.
I don't know. That's a good question. The school size, Bray Doyle High School is a very small rural school located near the town of Marlow and Stevens County.
Cute. They're not exactly.
But they can be mean. We know they can be mean.
Yes, they bite and stuff, but they're kind of adorable, let's be honest.
Yeah, but they're strong. You think about what they can do. Yeah, they can do a lot of stuff. So they obviously are stubborn. So the town of Marlow in Stevens County, Oklahoma, according to National Center of Education Statistics, the high school currently has around 79 students from grade 9 to 12.
Wow.
It's about a 12-to-1 student-teacher ratio.
Tiny.
Yep. The entire Bray Doyle district serves roughly 250 to 270 students from K to 12, from pre-K to 12. Small school atmosphere, a huge part of the community. Everybody knows everybody. The school is associated with the Marlow-Bray area in southern Oklahoma, about 80 miles southwest of Oklahoma City. The region is heavily tied to agriculture and energy industries, especially cattle ranching, farming, and oil production. Rural service jobs and small businesses also support local economies. Compared to the national average, the cost of living is considerably affordable. Housing costs much lower than the major metros. Many homes in the region price well below the national average. Lower cost of living is one reason families remain rooted in the community. There you go.
You said 70 miles from
80 miles southwest of
that's not
Oklahoma
I
City.
mean,
Yeah.
it's a, an hour drive to get your groceries and stuff. That's not terrible.
Right. Yeah.
That's too I grew up in a small town. We live in a small town. I've always lived in small towns. I like small towns. I like small schools. That's really small.
It's
That's
amazing.
all up in your business.
Yeah. It's amazing people's version what's small and what's not. Because for me, where I grew up, my graduating class was 200
Yeah,
kids.
and that to me, that's really big. But
That's
I
really
know that they
big.
have schools with graduating class of 1,000.
Yeah.
Like
It's crazy. And then,
to me, 200 is massive.
around this area,
Our
we
entire
have
high school is maybe 200.
around the Magic Valley around here, you have schools that have probably that graduating class, maybe a little bit more. But
Yeah, some of your
then you have
larger schools in
then you
Twin
go
might
some
have.
like where we live, it might be 80 to 100 graduating class. And then,
Where
then
we're teaching now,
we're teaching now, you might have 20
20 to
kids,
50 kids.
20 to 30, depending where you're at. And so everybody's version of what small and big is it's amazing because I'm just kind of like, because I've always said I could teach at a bigger school, and you're like, hell no.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then,
I
and then for
I
me,
enjoy the fact that even if I don't have you in my class, I know who you are.
right, and
I
then
love
that's
the fact that
there's a
kids
lot
know who
of
I
to
am,
advantage at, yeah,
whether I've had them in my room or not, or it's been 4 years since I've had them in my
right,
room. They know me,
yes,
and I know them.
yep,
And not to the point where I know everything about them because I don't that's too small.
yeah.
But
But when you're in a position where you're teaching a core subject, your chances of getting to know everybody is a
yes.
lot greater than if you're an elective teacher
Oh,
that
for
might be
sure. For
teaching,
sure.
a shop class
But I
or
mean, to teach right now I teach not multiple subjects, multiple grade levels, same subject, different grade levels because it's a smaller school.
right,
I would be okay, and I think I would prefer being in a school where I taught one grade level. But I don't want to be in a school so much where there's 5 of us that teach that one grade level subject.
right,
Like that's too much for me. I think 100 per class would be my comfort level maximum.
right. Where we were at before was
Where we
roughly
were
that.
working
Yeah.
before, yes, was fine.
For me, I haven't worked at a school any bigger than what we came from.
Yeah.
But again, it's just
I mean, you're
that
going to make
everybody's.
relationships with your kids no
But
matter what.
I get what
but
you're saying when you got 80 total kids in your whole school.
That's you might know each other too
and there
well.
are schools around here that you're like, why are you even open? Because
You're 10 minutes from this other school. Why?
yeah, and
Why?
I know that becomes a question with people because
Yes, and that's a whole other.
topic.
We're not. We're
I'm
not.
going to go into that.
We're not budget people for the
Nope.
state. No,
All right, mascot of the week, the donkeys.
I like it.
All right, I'd like to thank Coach's wife for being here, and I'd like to thank everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. Just to let you know that we will be July 31st and August 1st. We'll be at the Bananas game. We will let you know. We will share our experience during that weekend. We'll make sure we post pictures and stuff on the website, Instagram, TikTok,
And then we're going to go to a minor
Facebook.
baseball game in August.
Minor league baseball game in August is also happening. Yep, that'll happen too. All right.